In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Migs Mayfeld from The Mandalorian. Hi there Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk Bounty video. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Migs Mayfeld from The Mandalorian, or more specifically from the Mandalorian Season 2, the Morak episode. And this is where Migs Mayfeld is disguised as a Imperial Trooper. So he's looking pretty decent on that card back. We're going to take a closer look and then we're going to open him up and check out the figure. Alright then, so there he is on the card back with the red name pill and the red panel behind the figure. Now, if you are wondering where I've got this figure from, I got this from Star Action Figures in the UK, and they are getting their full allocation by Friday. So some of them are arriving today, the rest of it is arriving Friday. And that will cover all of their pre-orders. If you've already pre-ordered it, you will be getting this figure by the weekend, I'd imagine. And if you haven't pre-ordered it already, there is remaining stock on the website which you can pre-order. And there he is. So that's Migs Mayfeld. You can see him there. I'm not really too sure about that image. It looks a little bit photoshopped to me. And in fact, it does look like they've just put Bill Burr's head onto that body there. I might be mistaken about that, but it still looks pretty good. And you know, this is just another Mandalorian figure that we're getting. We have got so many Mandalorian figures now. Hasbro are going all in with the Mandalorian, and at the end of the day, I'm quite happy with that, especially for this one. We've got some other characters from Morak and ones that are going to be coming soon, so it's all good to have this guy. On the back there, it's VC229. We've got the Vintage Collection logo, and you can see there 6 of the 8 figures advertised on the back of the card are all from the Mandalorian. We have Disney and Hasbro at the bottom, loads of legal gump which nobody cares about, and essentially that is your card back. But it looks decent, and of course when we do eventually get the Din Djarin in the same disguise, those two will look pretty good together. I don't think at this point in time we've actually seen the card back for the Din Djarin, so that's something to look forward to. So there you go, that's Migs Mayfeld in his Trooper disguise, and we're going to open up the figure right now and check him out. Alright then, so here he is out of the packaging, Migs Mayfeld in his Trooper disguise. Now, I've got to say the head sculpt is pretty good. I would say it's not as good as some of the others that we've had recently because they've just been off the charts, but this one looks like Bill Burr, I guess. Probably as good as they're going to get it, to be honest. And, you know, you can see his like stubble there, his bald head. It looks decent enough. It's going to do the job, that's for sure. So now with this figure, there is a lot of reuse going on here. I mean, this is one of those exclusives, I think, and exclusives do tend to have a lot of reuse. And I think what they've done is they've used some of the parts of this guy here and this guy here. And I think these two share some parts anyway, especially the leg area. I feel that the legs are pretty much identical, and of course he does have his jacket here, which these two do not. The belt is ever so slightly different. He has a holster, these two don't. Now, of course, the armor, which is really nicely weathered, by the way, is new. That looks new to me. And I think the upper arms are pretty much the same as well. They seem to have the same armor as both of these figures here, but the lower arm seems to be more of a material effect rather than a piece of armor, which is pretty cool. I think he looks good. I'm feeling that maybe they could get some other uses out of this torso here, maybe for a mud trooper or something like that. That would be pretty good. But as you can see there, the legs are most definitely the same. You've got the same shin armor here, the same feet, same legs, everything. He doesn't have the new hip articulation that some of the new figures have, because of course he is utilizing these legs. But to be honest, I've never found that these are too restrictive. They actually work pretty well. There's the back of the figure there, and you can see that armor piece on his back looks pretty good. We're going to put the helmet on in a second. It is a removable helmet, not a separate helmet. And you can also see there his blaster in his holster, which also fits really, really well. Now, before we take a look at this figure in more detail, I just want to sort of highlight my major gripe about this figure, and it is, of course, the armband there, or rank insignia on his arm. From my knowledge, Migs Mayfeld does not have this in the show. It's actually the Din Djarin outfit that does. And when you look at the Din Djarin figure that is going to be coming out, that figure does include it. So essentially all they've done is just swap the heads from Din Djarin to Migs Mayfeld, and to me that is just ever so slightly lazy. I mean, you can see that the piece that they've used, it's this shoulder piece here, and even that one's got it there, that rank insignia there. And as I say, Din Djarin has it in the show, but Migs Mayfeld doesn't. And it wouldn't have been too difficult for them to make sure that this arm had the same as that piece of armor on his left arm. It really wouldn't have taken much, I don't think. So now when we do get the Din Djarin figure and you do have them together, It's going to look a bit odd, but it's not a deal breaker at the end of the day. It's just a little bit lazy, and, you know, come on Hasbro, you can do better than that. Just, it's these fine details that sometimes matter, especially when you've got two figures in the same scene, and, you know, when you've got them both with their helmets on, you're not going to know which one's which, because both of them have got the same armband. One should have a different arm. But as I said, it is only a small gripe. Is it really worth moaning about? I don't know. Let me know in the comments, but we're going to take a closer look at the figure anyway. All right then, so there we go. There's a more of a close-up of the head sculpt, and as I said, it does look like him. It's one of those things where it looks like him from certain angles, and then it doesn't from others. If we just spin his head there, you know, I'm not really too sure if that does there, but from center on there, I can see Bill Burr definitely in that head sculpt. And the good thing on my one here is that the eyes are straight, the paint apps, you know, the eyebrows, his beard, and his stubble there and everything, that is all nice and straight, so that's good. You can see the figure does have a holster which the sidearm does fit into very nicely, and the blaster that they give you is the same blaster that came with the Mithril figure, it looks to me. Exactly the same blaster there. If I can just get that in focus. And there you go, there you can see him holding the blaster. Now, I've got to admit, he holds it pretty well, but I did struggle to get the trigger finger to go through the trigger guard there. That didn't really work so well, but he holds it pretty well and it doesn't seem to go anywhere, which is the main thing. So he's looking pretty awesome. So how does this helmet work with the head? Here's the helmet. It looks pretty good. And let's see if it fits nicely and snug and if it's not too big and oversized. So there it is. He looks pretty awesome there with the helmet on. Now, if we bring the figure in, who's got a very similar helmet, to see the size difference. And you can see there that they've had to make the helmet ever so slightly bigger because obviously this one doesn't have a removable helmet, so there's no head underneath there, whereas this one does. But I don't really think that's too out of scale. It doesn't look, you know, silly or anything like that. It looks pretty decent. So I'm quite happy with that. No complaints there. Regarding the articulation of the figure, the head is on a barbell, so you get plenty of movement all around and everything with that. No problems there. We've got ball jointed shoulders and elbows. We have hinges at the wrists. We have a ball on the torso, so you get plenty of range of motion there. We have the ball jointed hips, as I say, the old style hips, but they are still pretty decent. We have the split at the thigh. We have knee joints and we have the ankle joints as well, but they're not on a rocker because, as I say, this is a slightly older mold and sculpt and what have you that they've just reused, but still it looks pretty good. And at the end of the day, if this was the only way that we were going to get Migs Mayfeld in this outfit, then I'm going to take it. It looks pretty decent to me. So let's just put the helmet back on there. He looks awesome. All right then, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. You're going to pick this guy up. It looks pretty decent to me, and I can't wait to get the Dinjarin figure to go with it. As I said, the only thing that really annoys me about that is that. So maybe I'll have to, you know, get some green paint and paint over that one for my loose version. But it's only a very small gripe. The rest of the figure is pretty awesome and expands that scene. We've got lots of figures from that scene, which is awesome. So there you go then, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and channel members. Your support is greatly appreciated. I hope you've enjoyed the review. Thank you all for watching, and we shall see you on the next one.